Today we are going to break down the upcoming big pattern shift and upcoming bigger storms that are going to shift us further toward winter and bring some severe weather in the meantime. So let's take a look at this and see what's going on here. First of all, I'm going to show a little bit of Tropical Storm Lorenzo out here. This thing is just going to recurve. I think it's likely to become a low-end hurricane. It is forecasting a 63 mile per hour sustained winds. I think it does have a good chance of becoming a hurricane. We also have our nor'easter over here, which is finally about to move off. We've had a lot of impacts from that, and you guys are soon going to get a break. And in general, we have a storm system that is about ready to pound California, and this is the main system we're going to talk about today. So here is our current jet stream right now. We have a trough coming over here in the west, and in the central area we're starting to see a ridge, and we do have a little bit of small disturbance over here in the east, but soon that disturbance is going to move out, and then we're going to see a big trough over here into California. We'll break down the impacts of that very soon. A main story here is we're going to have a pretty big ridge here over the next week or so over here in the central area. It's going to peak around Wednesday or so and will begin to shift east as we have a little bit of a minor trough digging into the northeast, and we have a large disturbance coming in, and this will produce a lot of severe weather. But again, that's not it, because we have another one right after that, and that will stick around for a bit, and then we have another disturbance, let alone another disturbance, before we finally, closer to the end of the month, we get maybe a break. Ignore that tropical system, and then eventually it gets us into a ridge in the west and a trough in the east at the very end of this model run. Now, this is our European model and what it's showing here. Showing about the same thing over the next little bit here. And then we have kind of like a secondary trough that kind of comes right in afterward. And this is going to be our main disturbance here, right around Sunday or Monday. And then we have another one right afterward, and another one right afterward, before eventually, again, ending in a ridge in the west, a trough in the east. Now, breaking down what might happen here, we are starting off, our nor'easter is going to move offshore very quickly, and we're going to also quickly see some very interesting stuff over here in California, where we're going to have extreme snowfall plus a lot of rain over here in Southern California. That's going to be beneficial. It's not going to be a ton of rain, but it is going to be a decent amount. Now, after that, this whole system is going to produce some small severe weather, some just general rain, but a secondary low develops, and driven by a cold front, is going to produce some severe weather along somewhere over here and bring maybe even potentially some snow in the upper Great Lakes area. Whereas we have yet another system coming in the west, bringing some snow and rain before it eventually produces again some nasty severe weather. And we have another low pressure around Saturday, October 25th. And it's a little too far out, but we're going to start watching a system around that time. And I would kick our big system, whatever, out to see if that would happen. But again, that's 16 days out. Now, temperature anomalies. Since we do have a little trough over here in the west right now, we are slightly below average. And we'll soon be near average over the next little bit. We're going to have a slight cool down where we're going to have a mini heat wave over here where that ridge is going to take place, and eventually I'll be kicked out by cool air. And that actually might get entrapped for a couple days before, again, warm air moves through, again, pushed around by more cold air, before, again, our trough in the east, ridge in the west pattern showing through. Here is our European model breaking down this upcoming system. We are going to have some decent rain up here, and we're going to see a pretty massive surge of rain, multiple bands, before this one will go up and potentially produce some snow. And again, we have a second low pressure system. The European, a little bit more bullish on an actual low pressure system, focused somewhere in the Midwest, is going to track from probably Missouri up into Canada based on this model run. And this produces a widespread severe weather outbreak on Sunday into Monday. The GFS likes to have a little bit cooler air entrained in it usually. The European not usually got as much snow. And that is showing off here. Before we yet have another severe weather outbreak up here in the northern plains, and a lot more down here, where we could have multiple days of severe weather down in the south central area. And European itself actually shows a pretty bullish cold front coming through. Not really producing severe weather until maybe the east coast, but again, that's really far out. Now here's what our temperature anomalies would look like over the next little bit. Again, extremely warm over the next little bit, and that's going to slowly go to the east and get pushed out by some cooler air before we have a huge cold front pushing even more warm air out, and our cool air is going to continue to try to train further east. And with this large system, we have a giant cold front coming through and plunging us all below average here in the southeast. Now, we do have an actual day 6 SPC outlook for a region stretching from Indiana into Texas. It is likely going to expand to a 30% at some point. Probably not in the next 3 or so days, but this is definitely something to watch. Thank you all for watching. This is WeatherX, and I'll see you later this week.